What is going on, you guys? It is another episode of the Sci-Fi Zone where the multiverse meets a seventh inning stretch. It's your boys Trenton and CJ, and today's destination is taking us back to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're going to be breaking down episodes 2 and 3 of Daredevil. This show continues to just get better every single time, from the fight choreography to the dialogue. It's just incredible.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Just two more really, really great episodes of television here from Daredevil Born Again. It's hard not to expect it at this point. It's one of the best Marvel shows that they've ever done. And yeah, like you said, it just keeps building and building off of the previous episodes and keeps getting higher stakes, and it's great to watch.
Yeah, bro. So let's get into it. The episode opens with us sending Cherry to the hospital with Matt ore farming on the rooftop, wondering why the hell Bullseye decided to save him and Cherry from the task force last episode. And if anyone knows the answer, it's God. And that's where we find good old Benjamin Poindexter. He's there actually looking for Matt's mom, Sister Maggie, which is a pretty cool tie-in to the Netflix shows. But we are on the verge of getting a potential Bullseye redemption arc, which that's just even crazy to think about. And I also love the constant use of the blue coloring for Dex on the screen.
Yeah, man, the blue lighting has been really, really great. That's something they do really well with this Daredevil show, is like the non-verbal storytelling and the themes that they have with like the colors. Like he's got his blue, Matt's got his red. And you see that a lot in the Defenders show too, with Jessica Jones having her blue, Luke Cage's yellow, and then Iron Fist having his green. Like the color scheming is something that they very much focus on, and I think it adds a really nice touch to the show.
Yeah, 100%. And Dex's redemption arc would honestly be a really logical way to continue his story, because if you think about it, Dex only went after Matt in the previous Daredevil show because Fisk told him to. And then he went after Foggy only because Vanessa told him to when he was at his arguably worst mental state that he could have been in. And the key thing to note here is that even though Matt tried to kill Dex for killing Foggy, Dex never tried to get revenge on Matt for doing that. You know, he escaped from prison, which indirectly was from the help of Matt, actually, with the tooth scene. And then Matt saves Fisk from Bullseye trying to kill him. So now Bullseye sees the good in Matt even more now than before. And now he probably wants to help take Fisk down too.
Yeah. And he, at the end of episode 1, if Bullseye wanted to kill Matt, he absolutely could have, because he was not missing his shots on those AVTF agents. So he could have thrown a knife at Matt too if he wanted to, but he didn't. He wanted to keep him alive because he understands the character that he is. And I really like this potential for a Poindexter redemption arc. Honestly, he's a character that I like kind of love to hate. Like, he's a really good bad guy, but they have done a really good job explaining the behaviors of his character. And like you mentioned, how like he's taking orders and like Vanessa's withholding his medication from him. He is trying to get better. He's putting in an effort, but it just hasn't gone his way yet. But I mean, clearly it seems like he wants to make some change.
Yeah. So now we see Fisk is training for the charity fight that we'll see later on in the season. And this got to be a money laundering scheme, right?
Yeah, there's got to be something to it. I don't know exactly what it is, but something seems fishy about this for sure.
Yeah, just Fisk trying to find another way to hurt people legally, I guess.
Yeah, and get somewhat positive publicity from it, because people are going to be cheering for him. So he wants to hurt people and he wants people to like him. So he's kind of getting the best of both worlds in this case.
Exactly. But Buck is trying to let Fisk know about Bullseye killing some of the task force agents and Daredevil escaping, Cherry's condition, and Fisk's trainer just does not know when to shut up, and he gets Flash Thompsoned into the mirror. You know, mirror, mirror on the wall. Fisk's patience is very small.
Yeah, man, that's really good. Yeah, I don't know what his trainer was really thinking there. I get that he's like his coach and he's trying to help him, but you know about Fisk, you know his past, and you know the temper that he has and what he can do when he gets pushed. So that was definitely a choice for sure.
Yeah, but we cut to Matt and Karen, and we confirm Cherry is stable, thank God. But more task force guys are likely to go back and nab him, so Karen's making sure he's got some backup. And they're theorizing, again, why Bullseye is helping them, but Karen obviously can't get over the fact that Bullseye killed Foggy. You know, I'm starting to get over it a little bit, because he's still kind of a victim, and he was originally even deeper a victim from Fisk and the system.
Yeah, honestly, man, when Born Again season 1 opened, that opening of season 1, I thought that I was never going to forgive Poindexter for what he did.
100%.
I was not planning on rooting for him in any way whatsoever, but like we mentioned earlier, they're doing such a good job with his character and developing him and explaining him. I mean, yeah, he's kind of winning me over.
Yeah, and he's choosing to take out the bad guys, not the good guys.
Exactly.
So Karen goes on to say, since she hates Bullseye so much, that she wouldn't care if the task force just put a bullet between his eyes. And this is first of multiple signs throughout these next 2 episodes where Karen is starting to morally side with Frank Castle rather than Daredevil. And I just think that's a really interesting, but again, logical way to take her character, because like she's been through so much at this point because of Fisk.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely an interesting development to her character, but I can understand where she's coming from, because the more involved she gets with this and the deeper she goes and the more she gets hurt and the people around her get hurt, the less empathy she has for the opposition. So, yeah, I mean, definitely some parallels there to Frank Castle for sure.
Yeah, but they got to focus on the plan, and the plan is to expose the Northern Star cargo, show that Fisk is up to no good, and also find the captain's first mate so he can possibly testify or, give a statement, whatever. And we cut to another example of the task force, again taking advantage of the emergency powers that Wilson Fisk has given them, by them just going in, grabbing the owner of the Greek restaurant that we saw before, no warrant or anything that we can at least see visibly, and then she's going to be put in Fisk's personal jail, held inside Red Hook's port. Just, again, evil stuff, bro. We literally said last episode, I hope this only happens one time, and it happened the next episode.
Yeah, man. It seems like they're not going to be slowing down at all, and especially after doing it the one time and then having no repercussions for it and just getting away with it scot-free, like they're going to have pretty much free range to do that whenever and wherever they want.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah, just unchecked power getting put in the hands of people who shouldn't have that power in the first place.
Yeah. But next we see Buck is trying to convince Fisk to expose Matt as Daredevil, but Fisk thinks that would not be an easy sell. And the blind lawyer who saved my life is the same guy who's the main conspirator in my complete universal downfall and has beaten dozens of my task force and previous police officers to a pulp and been at the scene of at least 15 to 20 murders. That's a hard sell. But how do we fix that? Get everyone to believe not the vigilante, but the hero lawyer Matt Murdock has been missing. So now the public must work together. New York, find Matt Murdock so we can give him the praise he deserves and we can make sure he's safe. So now fans of Matt Murdock are going to go find him and try and find Daredevil, and Fisk can identify the allies and the threats of Matt Murdock and Daredevil through this social media post. So it's crazy how corrupt people in government can manipulate social media to their advantage.
Yeah, 100%. He's manipulating everybody in a different way. You have the people who hate Daredevil and want to capture the vigilante, and you have the people who care about Matt Murdock and want to bring him back to safety for what they understand, but they don't realize that they're looking for the same person. And that's exactly what Fisk is doing. He's just sending out a search team throughout the entire city, essentially. Very, very smart play by Fisk, but very bad situation for Matt Murdock.
Yeah, 100%. Fisk, he always knows how to play chess.
Yeah, man. The way that he controls the media is impressive, but it's evil.
Yeah. But next we see the daily BB report that we always get. Very fun to see. And again, we're still only getting good publicity from BB about the Northern Star, bad publicity about vigilantes. But I think all of this will change very soon because the Fisk impersonator video has now made its way inside the mayor's office. Which, come to find out, the Daredevil footage from the task force body cam that we saw that was used in the video came from Daniel's laptop. Oh no. Sheila pressed him about it. Luckily, he lied and said, "Oh, I don't have it." And also, luckily, none of the major news outlets have picked up on the video either. So it's still pretty underground stuff, but I doubt it will be for long. And Daniel's trying to downplay it a little bit, like how bad it could be. But my guy, Sheila said it best herself. Fisk does not like surprises. You effed up bad here. And you remember the last time you got burned.
In the fullness of time, you'll make a better man. That said, if you ever do anything like that again, it will be the last thing that you ever do. Do you understand?
And that was not good. So you need to figure this out.
Yeah, 100%. Daniel is playing with fire here for sure. Obviously, Fisk does not like things being kept from him. He does not like surprises, like you mentioned. So the more he pushes this off, the more danger he's putting himself in. And it's just, there's really almost no way out for him at this point.
No way home, even. But I also like that Daniel does say, thank you for the help, and I respect you to Sheila, and she says, thank you, Bubba. And like, it felt very, very much like a student-teacher dynamic, and I think that's like an interesting thing that these two have. Like initially when they started, Sheila did not like Daniel because Daniel had no experience, but like Daniel's really came into his own, and he still doesn't know a lot, but Fisk likes his unconventional methods, while Sheila does know a lot, but likes to do things a bit more by the book.
Yeah, I really like their relationship dynamic, and it seems like Sheila really does care about Daniel. Like when Daniel first got the position that he did, it seemed like a lot of people who were working beside Fisk were not very happy with it because Daniel really doesn't have that experience to hold a position like that. But over time, he's been growing on them. He's winning people over. We see that with Buck a little bit as well. He's winning him over. So yeah, he's really getting more comfortable with the position that he has, or as comfortable as you can be working that close to Fisk.
Yeah, like we said last episode, your first job with Fisk is probably your last.
Yes, yeah, and Daniel's been given several chances, so we'll see how many more times that happens.
Yeah. But we cut to Fisk and Powell is likely the lead guy for anything task force related at this point. And he's telling Fisk about, I'm going to increase the security detail, because Bullseye is dangerous as hell. He's out there. He's probably going to kill you again. So we're going to put more guys on you just to make sure that doesn't happen. And I like that he just continues to call Matt a prick lawyer and an asshole. Like, I love how much they just don't like each other.
Man, shut your...
Yeah, there's so much disdain for Matt Murdock. They cannot stand this man at all.
Yeah. And I love that line that Powell says to Fisk, I'll put Matt Murdock in this office and I'll put Daredevil's head on a freaking spike. And Fisk is like, either of those would be fine. It's cool. Because he knows only one of those is going to happen. He's not getting both.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'll take whichever one you give me. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, man. But meeting's over. Powell walks out, and who does he see? Agent Cole. He's not dead. I totally thought he blew up in Matt's apartment.
I 100% thought that he was dead as well. I was very surprised to see him come back. That apartment blew up to smithereens. Like that was not good. The fact that he survived that is very, very impressive. And we do see some scars on his face from it. And he says, like, this is the best I'm going to get. But the fact that he was able to survive it anyways is a miracle.
Yeah, he must have just, as soon as he saw Matt and Punisher run out the window, he probably just ripped a knife out of his hand and booked it as quick as he could and got out just enough to, be back with just a bit of scarring.
Yeah.
But obviously he's welcomed back into the task force with open arms, because if you just say, I effing hate vigilantes, then yeah, you're in, you're good.
Yeah, no paperwork needed, no documentation. Join the team if you hate them. We hate them too.
Yeah. And we cut to the task force, but haha, you guys can't just pull up on an old guy like Cherry who was punched in the head and the chest repeatedly by your other officers. You got to get some backup and have some other dudes with you if you want to do that, because he's got some of his guys on him. I love how much these cops just like talk crap to their face.
Yeah, man. The anti-vigilante task force has power in the sense that Fisk gives them power, but the police department has power in the sense of like actual law and like not unconstitutional things that like Fisk is likely doing. Like theoretically they have the actual system behind them, so like there's a bit of a power dynamic there.
Yeah, emergency powers can only go so far.
Yeah, especially if it's not actually an emergency, which in this case it kind of isn't.
Yeah, like at least Palpatine could justify his powers. There was a galactic war going on.
Yeah exactly.
But those two stupid officers leave after they're told to go get backup, and they're talking some smack. Not gonna be talking much longer, because guess who else is there? Bullseye, baby. He takes him out, and his suit looks so sick too. My girlfriend was like, wait, is that Daredevil?
He's kind of blue Daredevil that kills people in a way. This was so sick. He was standing above the elevator and took off a piece of the ceiling and killed them from directly above them. Like, he's just really cool. He's really cool. He kills a lot of people, but he does it in a cool way,
Yeah, he knows how to put himself in the right position to be able to strike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he's an A-tier stalker, if you guys didn't watch the original 3 seasons of Daredevil.
Oh yeah, he has plenty of practice and experience stalking and following people without their knowledge.
Hey, I'm stalking here. But Powell and his cronies come back to try and nab Cherry, but haha, I'm gonna say haha to the task force a lot this episode, but you guys are too late. The good cops got Cherry out of there. Honestly, if they tried to pull Cherry out of there, I feel like he could have low-key died from the denied access to healthcare that he needed in the hospital, which it kind of sucks that they even got to take him out of there in the first place, but I'm sure they got some in-home nurse stuff that they could work out in the meantime.
Yeah, hopefully they have a backup plan in some way. But yeah, it's unfortunate that that hospital bed isn't the safest place for him because there are people hunting him.
Yeah, man, such hard times.
Yeah, man. He's just an old man. Let him be.
Yeah, man. But Fisk finds out from Powell about the dead elevator agents, and the elevator door trying to close on them was so funny.
That was really good. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, but Fisk hangs up the phone. Then he shows Daniel Commissioner Gallo's incident report that they manufactured to make look like a car accident instead of the obvious murder that Fisk committed. And the rub, per se, in this whole thing is to show that there are now even more loose ends because of Daniel and his connection to BB. Because now we find out that the card BB gave the commissioner the night he died in season 1 has the impersonator Fisk silhouette on it, confirming that BB is the impersonator, but Fisk doesn't know that yet. But Fisk does know about the video now as he shows it to Daniel. Daniel, I think he does know it's BB, but he's trying to protect her because he likes her, you know? And we'll later find out that he assumes it is her, the one leaking all the stuff, and he just tells her to stop, but, you know, she doesn't confirm it. But just Daniel got so lucky here that Fisk didn't just fire him or fire his head off of him.
What the fuck, man?
He's on the thinnest ice right now.
Yeah, man. I mean, the fact that he's able to get away with messing up and keeping things from Fisk twice at this point says a lot about him. And I feel like Fisk has a soft spot for Daniel that he doesn't really have for a lot of other people.
Yeah, and also Daniel always is at least accountable and does apologize. You know, like he doesn't like give any excuses. He's just like, you know, yeah, I messed up.
Yeah, I respect him for that. Like, yeah, I should have told you about it. My bad.
Yeah, and I think the thing that solidified him getting another chance was when Fisk asked him, "Do you feel that you need to protect anyone in this building?" And he said, "You. I need to protect you." It's a good answer.
It was a very good answer because that is kind of why he's around.
Yep. We cut to Fisk's better half, Vanessa, and she's talking a buck. She is spending a buck to get her own piece to protect herself from Bullseye. And I get it. But Vanessa, let's be honest. Even if you saw him in time before he shot you, there's no way you're getting the shot off.
No. Yeah, no. He's going to put a knife in you before you have any chance to pull the trigger. Like, if he wants to kill you and he has an opportunity to, he's going to do it because he's shown that he can so many times.
Yeah. So at least you feel safe. But we cut to Matt and Karen doing some recon, and the task force is making it appear to the public that it was just diapers on the Northern Star. That's all the cargo it was, but obviously just a show to make the situation look innocent to the public. Per usual, they stick around till nightfall and find the rest of the dangerous cargo that's actually being loaded into the dock from the Northern Star, and Matt concludes that he needs to go into the dock, verify that the weapons are there, so hopefully that can at least get his emergency powers pulled.
Yeah, it's a very hopeful plan. The fact that Matt is confident that he can do all this by himself with how many AVTF agents there are is very optimistic.
Yeah, and Fisk's control of the media.
Yes, absolutely. That's just a whole nother element that he can't really touch.
Yeah. So we cut back to Fisk and Vanessa, and this scene just honestly establishes that Fisk has his eyes truly set beyond New York, and that him and Vanessa plan on being king and queen of anything they can get their hands on. Never too many worlds to conquer for these two.
Yeah, exactly. A very kingpin line where Vanessa asked him, like, how many more worlds do you have to conquer? And he asked, how many more are there? Like there is no limit to him. However many worlds there are, he wants them all.
Yep. Then we cut to a really tough scene. It's Angela Del Toro and her mom. You know, they're just missing him, contemplating his decisions of being White Tiger and remembering what he stood for. Before they go into a bodega for a snack, and a few kids try to steal some liquor, and Angela's mom tries to do the right thing by just saying, "Hey, put it back. I'm not going to tell the guy, just put it back." And they don't want to. They argue and bicker for a bit, and then the bodega guy pulls a shotgun on the kids. So mom's like, "Yo, chill, they're just kids." And he's like, "Nah, I'm tired of them doing some stupid stuff. I want to put a hole in this guy right now." But because he tried to pull a gun on the kid instead of calling the cops about it. And eyes of the task force, that's taking the law into your own hands. That's making him a vigilante. So they knock the bodega owner down, and they're also kicking the crap out of the kid that stole the liquor. And Angela's mom tries to stop that from happening, and she puts her hand on the task force guy's arm, and he's like, "Oh, you just assaulted me? Yeah, you're getting arrested." And they take her. They freaking take her. So now Angela is fully alone against a system who's taken everyone she loves, because all they wanted to do was protect people who were being threatened.
This was such a tough scene, man. This was so hard to watch for Angela's sake. I feel so bad for her. They're just taking her entire family away from her, just isolating her from everything that she loves. And like, she put her hand on the agent's arm to try to stop him from beating a kid for no reason. She just wanted to prevent that, and then he starts crying. Oh no, you're assaulting me because you touched me with your hand. And then that he just sees that as a reason to abduct her and take her away for no reason. It's just absolutely terrible, man.
Very terrible. We do not condone that.
No, yeah, believe it or not, bad.
And we cut to Heather giving a presentation on promoting anti-vigilantism, and she's throwing Muse into the same category as White Tiger. That just feels wrong to me, personally. I don't think they're the same kind of guy, but at the same time, Heather thinks that Daredevil or Frank could have killed Matt. I mean, she really has no clue that Matt's Daredevil.
She really doesn't. I thought there was like, she knows that Daredevil knows her name because he said her name in the mask, but she has not put the pieces together that it's Matt. She still really has no clue. And it is kind of odd that she is grouping Muse with the two of them as well, because I feel like she would know that it's not the same. Obviously, she is like kind of drinking the Kool-Aid with Fisk and like believing his propaganda. And she does have a traumatic experience with Muse, but he is a serial killer. He's not the same kind of vigilante as Frank or as Matt. So like, the fact that she is grouping them together is a bit interesting.
Very, but it has to go with the propaganda, so you got to do it. But another line here hinting at Heather turning into Muse down the line, and that is when Vanessa says to her, "It must be hard to get into the head of those people," referring to vigilantes. And Heather says, "Sometimes it's a little too easy. That's the scary part." I mean, I seriously think Muse, along with Kingpin and Vanessa, are all in a way corrupting Heather's mind, and it's gonna influence her into becoming Muse in some sort of fashion.
Yeah, they're taking Heather's character in a very interesting direction. I'm very intrigued with what they're going to do with her. It seems like it really is that they're setting up that in some way, and all the stresses around her, like you mentioned, the traumatic experience with Muse and Vanessa and Kingpin pushing her. Like, at some point, she's going to snap.
Yeah, literally. We also confirmed that Bullseye, world-renowned stalker, like previously mentioned, is both stalking Vanessa and Heather right now in real time, planning his revenge versus Vanessa.
Yeah, and Vanessa can sense it. She knows he's out there. She doesn't look directly at him, but she has that feeling that he's around for sure.
Yeah. And then we cut to Kirsten at the law office, and Angela is there because she has no one else to go to. She literally does not have a trusted adult at this point to go to. And Kirsten consoles her, and it's like, damn, no one knows where they're going to take them. It sucks. And that is what makes Angela want to go look at the White Tiger amulet, setting her up inevitably become the White Tiger in her Tio's footsteps. You know, it's so cool that they're actually doing this, setting her up to carry on the mantle.
It's really cool, man. I'm really glad that they're committing to that and letting her carry on her uncle's legacy. Everything that happened with the actor who played Hector Ayala and him passing was an extreme tragedy and was obviously never part of the plan. It wasn't going to be in the script, but the way that they've handled it and the way that they are still paying respects to him in this way, I think is done really well. And both Angela and BB's characters are really great in the sense that they're carrying on their uncle's legacies and continuing on what they've done before.
Yeah, dude, it's like they're born again.
Exactly.
So next we cut to Daniel and BB, who are meeting to edit the BB report, and Daniel cooks her a meal, buys her wine, playing R&B when she comes in. You don't do that for anybody, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, man. It seems like it actually seems for a second like they're on a date here. Like they have a great relationship. I really like what they have together, and yeah, it seemed like it was going to be going really nice.
Yeah, but as soon as all the foreplay is done, he's like, all right, did you leak my shit?
Yeah, he just gets right to it, man. This is a great scene for him because he has that like friendly side where he's like kind of like sucking up to her a little bit, but then he gets serious and like kind of goes into that mob boss type of way in a way. Like he's like a mini kingpin sometimes.
Yeah, although all he did was ask nicely, though. He's like, just stop. If it's you, just stop.
Yeah, he didn't threaten her or anything. He just said, "Hey, please, like for both of our sake."
Yeah, and I'm sure he knows it is her, but he's just trying to protect her.
Yeah, I feel like he's got to know by this point for sure.
But we cut to Matt, Karen, and a cameo from Josie. Nice to see her. Matt's super hearing starts focusing in, though, and he senses some weird movement, but luckily it's just Officer Angie, who we saw from the St. Patrick's Day episode.
Ah, blimey, he says. I just fucked a penguin.
She's just letting everyone know Cherry's chill, we got him, but stay indoors, Fisk is on the hunt, rebel.
Yeah, this is good news. It's good that Cherry's stable. He's doing all right. They got him in a hiding place, so for the time being, he's safe.
Yeah, for real. But now we get our next installment of what I'm going to refer to now as the fake pin reports, showing more task force ruckus, how dangerous they are for the city, exposing all the propaganda and whatnot. Very cool. But after it's all said and done, we cut to behind the camera, and it is indeed BB behind the mask. Super cool.
Yeah, this is a really cool reveal. They did a great job of hiding this. Like we weren't for sure that this was going to be BB. It could have been somebody else, but yeah, this was a really cool reveal.
Yep. At the same time, we cut to Vanessa, who cannot sleep, and we see a blue rose here, like Bullseye blue. And she gets up, has a weird feeling. She has her gun, and then it cuts to her into the middle of the road, bunch of smoke, super eerie, and then there's just a Bullseye horror sequence. Pretty cool. And after she wakes up, the rose is red.
Yeah, that was a really cool scene. I really like the effect of like when she's having this nightmare, the rose is blue for Bullseye, and then when she wakes up, it's red. I thought that was a really nice touch. Just another really great color storytelling that they do.
Yeah, and it also just shows like he has some control over her reality in a way.
Yeah, and she like is regretful and worried for what she's done in the past and how it's going to affect her.
Yeah, for sure. And at the same time, Matt and Karen are working out the Northern Star plan, and the parallels shown between Fisk and Vanessa and Matt and Karen here are pretty great, as in how much they love each other and hate their enemies, and also would like a life outside of the chaos.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch. I really like the back and forth they did, just showing like how much hate they have for each other, but how much love they have for the woman in their life, and like how much comfort they get from her. They do a really good job at humanizing Kingpin at times. I know he's an evil villain, he's done some horrible things, but they don't shy away from showing the humanity in him.
Yeah, it's a really, really complicated balance.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the same time, Matt and Karen start dancing and whatnot, and then the task force pulls up, blares a super high-pitched ringing horn. They arrest Josie, but not before Karen escapes to the roof. Matt goes out there, takes out the task force agents, and also destroys the horn. And behind Josie's, Karen takes out an agent of her own. And that's just super sick. I mean, these fights were awesome, but Matt taking out the guys outside of Josie's, Matt taking out the guys inside of Josie's, and just the choreography throughout the whole season has been super sick.
Yeah, Daredevil never misses on the fight scenes. That's one thing they get right every single time. There's a lot of things they get right every single time, but the fight scenes especially have been great. And it's really cool seeing that Matt and Karen can hold their own fighting people by themselves. They don't need to rely on each other. They can throw hands when they need to.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a Starlight and Huey situation.
Exactly. They don't need to be like saving each other or worrying about that.
Yeah, although Matt is still very protective.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. That's very true.
Yeah, but it turns out Karen didn't just take out an agent. She kidnapped him, and they're going to use him for information. And that's the end of episode 2.
Yeah, man. Great episode. Just really, really great building on everything that they've been doing so far.
Yeah, for sure. So episode 3 opens with how New York really is like, with Fisk in charge and the task force roaming the streets, and people are starting to not like it. People are starting to resist.
Yeah, there's only so much you can do with this. You can only get away with so much. At some point, people are going to start turning on them when they're just taking people out of the streets for no reason.
Yep. So with the task force agent that Matt and Karen took hostage, and Matt's very surprised that Karen took this kind of initiative, but I love to see it from her. Honestly, this many years down the line, she just wants to end it at this point, and this is a really quick way to get some information and other things.
Yeah, 100%. And it's not like she's completely unfamiliar with this kind of things. We know that she killed Wesley in the past, and obviously that was like a self-defense thing. She kind of had to do that, but yeah, man, she wants to end this thing now.
Yeah. And this task force agent also wants to end things as he wants to join the resistance, and he doesn't agree with the task force. And I love the bit where Matt's just yelling at him, "You're lying, you're a liar." And then he whispers to Karen, "Yeah, he's telling the truth."
It was so funny, man. The delivery on that was so good. I love it. Matt Murdock is a funny man.
Yeah, but the agent gives Matt and Karen his access card to the port, so that's super clutch. And I tell him to lie about what happened. We're gonna dump you back over at the port, say we beat you up, and then we're gonna get in there.
Yeah, this was a huge advancement for the good guys. Like, obviously, with how much power Fisk has with the media and the government and the law, like, for them to have a guy on the inside now and get access from him, like, that's huge for them.
100%. So now we cut back to Heather, and as we mentioned with her and the hints of her turning into Muse, we get Muse's mask. Her and Muse are gonna become one by the end of this season. I just know it. Like, she's losing her mental control, emotional control. She wants to take control into her own hands.
Yes. Yeah, that was very surprising. I was shocked that she kept it. Don't know why she did, but I mean, what they've been doing with this character has been so interesting, and I'm curious to see how this develops, considering how much hatred she has for vigilantes, but she still keeps the mask. What is the reason for that? What's going on in her head right now? She's crashing out, essentially.
Yeah, literally. And I kind of don't blame her either.
Yeah, I don't either, man. She's been through a lot, and she is currently going through a lot still.
Yeah. So a couple hours later, she runs into Kirsten. And, thankfully Kirsten is, sympathetic towards her, but at the same time, she still does call her out for not only working for Fisk, but manipulating Jack Duquesne's psych evaluation. And I know Heather's been through a lot, and Heather just doesn't really see things how Kirsten does. So I wonder how their difference of opinion will manifest throughout the season.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I really like Kirsten's character and her calling out Heather for this, because she had the offer from Hawkberg to join him and be on their side, and things would go better for her, or she would struggle less than trying to fight the opposition and fight the system. So it's cool that they have these clashing opinions on how the system works and why they do what they do.
Yep. And speaking of the system, the trial got moved up 2 weeks just because Hawkberg wanted it to, and Kirsten hasn't even been able to see Jack Duquesne for weeks at this point, not being able to build any type of defense. And she finally is allowed to go see him today, but she has to be blindfolded on her way into the port, surveyed by the task force, forcing her to have to listen to her surroundings, which will actually come up super clutch later in the episode. The task force's own means of trying to control the situation is the very thing that leads them to their downfall later this episode.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they blindfolded her and led her through this dark hallway to not have any witnesses or try to keep her from being able to say anything or give any hints to anyone. And it's exactly what plays into their downfall later on.
Exactly. So she only gets to talk with Jack for 15 minutes, but they establish that this is indeed the first vigilante trial under Fisk's term, and that the DA has little to no evidence of Jack being the swordsman. It kind of doesn't matter. He's likely to go away anyway, even though they have no evidence. It's so messed up. And then at the same time, as we cut away from them, we do see the jail that Fisk does have, the one that Frank broke out of last season. It is indeed still active.
Yeah, still active, still full of innocent people, seemingly, who haven't really done anything, just enemies of the state from Kingpin's perspective. But, I mean, yeah, they're really doing everything they can to put the swordsman and Kirsten at a disadvantage here and basically try to decide the outcome of the trial before it even starts.
Yeah, super messed up. And speaking of Frank, Matt actually says in the very next scene to Karen, "I think you're kind of turning into Frank right now." And honestly, she kind of is. I mean, she's tired of losing. She wants some good old permanent change, and she wants him to basically come back, shoot some dudes, or even just Fisk. And this worries Matt because that's not what Foggy would have wanted. That's not how he thinks this is actually going to solve the problem. And they have to believe in that small part of the system that does work.
Oh, you and your goddamn system. You and your goddamn system. Christ!
Yeah, man. Matt and his damn system. It's, I mean, props to him for having faith in it this far in. And after everything that he's seen, and after people just not being held accountable for anything. Like, the fact that he still has that optimism is very impressive.
Yeah, and I'm sure with that optimism does have to come with like a lot of, persistence and consistency and, the way he thinks. And I'm sure that also has applied to his workout routine because goddamn, this guy is ripped.
Yeah, dude. Charlie Cox got in crazy shape for this season, seemingly. Man, I mean, I don't know why Karen was facing the wall for this whole scene. She should have just turned around and looked at those 12 abs. I mean, yeah, that's a good looking man.
Yeah, but they do reveal that the governor of New York received a copy of the Charter of 1855, the thing that grants the port, being a free port, free of all jurisdiction from the United States and the state of New York. So, if the things were to come to light about Fisk with the cargo that he was shipping through the dock, then the governor and only the governor could have the power to revoke the usage of the charter, meaning that they actually have some legitimate leverage over Fisk now. And initially, she isn't on Fisk's side either. She warns him about his shadiness and tells him to be careful with his moves moving forward because she does know about the Northern Star cargo. And Fisk is like, I don't know where you heard about those rumors about the cargo. And she's like, yeah, you don't, do you? That's right.
Yeah, man, it's been great. I love seeing Fisk getting his power checked, like, obviously, like, if you go back to season 1 of the original Daredevil show, there was not a lot of people that had power over Fisk, aside from like maybe Madame Gao, who wasn't really like intimidated by him. Everybody else was intimidated by him and just did what he said because they didn't want their head to end up in a box. You know what I mean? So, and now that he's the mayor, where he theoretically has like more power because of the system, there are people above him that have even more power than him. So he can't actually do everything that he wants to.
Yeah, it kind of goes back to that question that Gallo asked him at the beginning of last season.
Still makes no sense to me, this mayor thing. So you gave up your criminal empire for what? So you could have less money and less power?
Right, yeah. Yeah, what's the thought process there?
Yeah, but we see Buck and Daniel, and Buck wants some dirt on the governor so that they can flip her so that she doesn't revoke the charter. And Daniel reveals that he has some investigative skills of his own because he found out some info about Buck's past, and he's like, oh, okay, find the leak then. Please, if you're such a good investigator, why are you looking into me? Look into the governor, find the leak, educate, manipulate. Let's go.
Yeah, man. I mean, if he's so good at research, then he wants to find the guy that's causing this problem in the first place. But, Daniel kind of doesn't want to do that because he assumes that it's BB.
Yep, and he's kind of telling on himself in a way, Daniel, by not like being completely against the idea of the leak character. It kind of shows that he is siding with BB, not completely siding with Fisk, which could definitely come back to haunt him later.
Yeah, he kind of slips up a little bit. He's like, well, hey, I mean, if someone was wearing a mask of me, I would think it's kind of flattering in a way.
Not for Fisk, no.
No, he doesn't like that kind of thing.
Yeah, and then we get this episode's report of Fake Pin Report. It speaks upon Jack Duquesne's trial, how messed up and corrupt it is, how bad the task force really is, what the port's being used for, just, again, watering those seeds for the public, for all that information to inevitably come out. And we cut to the start of the vigilante trials. And these judges are running off pills and Pepto. So it's about to get crazy. And sadly, this trial just goes absolutely terribly for Jack Duquesne. Every objection Kirsten tried to make, overruled. She even pleaded with them to try and get more time because she didn't have any time to create a proper defense. And they just tell her, suck it up, deal with it, go off the top, freestyle.
Yeah, they really did everything to stack the deck against Kirsten here. It's so unfortunate. And I mean, Kirsten even says, like, I feel like the media had more time to prepare than I did, which is absolutely unacceptable because you are the lawyer. It's your client. You need to have this opportunity to build your case and even talk to them, which you didn't have the opportunity to do until like a day or two before.
Exactly. And this does end up resulting in Jack getting convicted of his vigilante charges and being sent to essentially Fisk's personal black box. And Fisk could not be happier.
Yeah, man. I mean, everything went exactly how he wanted it to. It was all for show, basically, and it went just according to plan.
Yeah. And Vanessa's laying on the floor in the bedroom. But I think Dex is making her lose her freaking mind because she's scared he's just going to come back for her.
Yeah, I think she's definitely battling some anxiety. She's battling some demons for sure. She knows that he's quick on her tail and that she's not going to be able to outrun him for long.
Nope. But everyone involved in New York politics is at this governor's dinner. Fisk is there. Governor's there. Sheila's there. Daniel's there talking to the attorney general's guy to try and get info on the governor. Heather is there. Vanessa's setting her up with Buck Cashman. That would be an interesting couple.
That would be a very, very interesting couple. I mean, Heather's already getting corrupted just being around Fisk. So if she's in a relationship with Fisk's right-hand man, basically, that could snowball even worse.
Yeah, they could totally become their own version of Vanessa and Kingpin.
Yeah, 100%. I could see that for sure.
And Buck also hints at Daniel becoming the heir to Fisk's and Vanessa's legacy. So that's crazy for him to say despite all of the potential rumors about the leak.
Yeah, that was very big. I mean, the way that Daniel's reputation at this point, it feels like completely different than it was when he first got there, where to the point where people think that they're just going to give the business and the government over to him, essentially.
Yeah, that would be crazy. But, he definitely does look like a young Wilson Fisk.
Yeah, dude, 100%. And the more he's around him, the more personality rubs off on him. Just kind of like Heather, he's getting more corrupt the more he's around him.
Exactly. And then Fisk tries to make a toast to everyone, but the governor's like, I got it. And she does it herself to praise him, his team. And Vanessa's like, yo, she's afraid of you. That's why she did that. And she's just such an enabler, dude.
Yeah, man, she's using Fisk in her own way, seemingly, because obviously he's like protection for her, but she also gets the power when he has power. So it's like, she's just, like you said, she's such an enabler.
Yeah. And now we cut to the cleanup crew that Mr. Charles in the previous episode told Fisk that he would put together. And they're all done. They cleaned up all the stuff. They loaded it back into the port. But now they're being told that they cannot leave nor be paid. Very sus. Very corrupt. I would just hate to see Mr. Charles' plan be followed through to completion.
Yeah, wouldn't that be a shame?
Yeah, I would hate that. But we'll figure that out later. Oh. But we cut to Kirsten self-medicating at the bar after the loss of the Duquesne trial. I don't blame her, but Karen bumps into her, passes off a note saying meet up at the office. So she gets to the office, Matt's there in his suit, and he's like, give me the details. And she's like, I'm a little drunk. I'm not going to lie. He's like, I don't care. You need to tell me everything you know about your experience going into the port. She's like, well, I was blindfolded. I didn't see anything. And he's like, well, girl, I'm not going to be seeing shit either. So that'll work. Tell me what you heard, what you felt, all that stuff. And those little details that she had to listen to before, the ones that the task force limited her to, are the very details, like I previously mentioned, are the ones that help Matt get inside the port with the card from the guy that Karen got. So now Matt is fully in there. And he quickly disarms the task force agents that were there, and then uses his superhuman hearing to find the watch that he put in the crate at the beginning of episode 1. So now he knows where the weapons are within the port. Genius stuff here.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. I love everything that they do with like senses other than sight. Like Matt being like somewhat blind, or like blind in the way that he's blind, it gives like so much opportunity to explore these other senses. I love every time that we get like a glimpse of what it's like to be Daredevil. Like I think the show does a really good job at that, like showing us what it's like to live as Daredevil.
Yeah, but Matt gets inside, handles the task force agents, Aura farms for a little bit, and then as he's hearing the watch, he hears something else. He hears the screams and cries of all of the prisoners, and he says, you know what? I gotta be Daredevil right now. and he uses the key card to open everyone up out of their jail cell, including Jack Duquesne, including Angela Del Toro's mom. And then this leads to an insane and utterly awesome fight sequence with Daredevil and Swordsman versus the task force, who almost kill multiple civilians during this fight. But through the brain and brawn of Daredevil and Jack Duquesne, they help the people get out of the jail room.
Yeah, man, this was so great. It's just another incredibly choreographed fight scene. They just do it so well. Like the dynamic between Matt beating guys up with his fist and his baton. He's got Swordsman using like metal pipe and like the AVTF agents like batons as a sword in a way, and he's like got the more brutal fighting style where he's not afraid to kill people. There was just so much great stuff going on here, and it was so hectic with all the prisoners there too, having to keep them safe while also fighting off the AVTF. It was just it was incredible, man.
Yeah, and also Matt took a page out of Bullseye's book and went when he threw that rebarb through those two task force agents.
Yeah, man, 100%.
But we cut to Karen outside in the getaway car, and she notices that, stuff's going down. She's freaking out. But then she notices Angela Del Toro, who's wearing the White Tiger amulet and the suit. She's officially carried on the mantle as White Tiger. So awesome.
Yeah, man, it's so sick. I love what they're doing with her character. She had a line earlier in the previous episode where she says, like, if it was too dangerous to be a hero, then there would be nobody to be a hero. And now she is taking up the mantle. She is being the hero that she needs to be and carrying on the legacy of her uncle. It's so great to see. I love what they're doing with her character.
Yeah, and she was pretty capable. She was able to nab some of the task force guys' gear and a key to an armored car, which they ended up using to help the prisoners escape from the jail. She was invaluable in this escape attempt, and she didn't even know how much she was going to be able to help out here. But her, Daredevil, Karen, Swordsman, they all free every single one of Fisk's political prisoners. And she even used her Tio's knife to slash the task force tires so that they couldn't follow them on the way out. I mean, so cool and utterly insane. I love it.
Yeah, man, there was so much to love about this scene. This prison breakout scene was just so incredible. There's so much going on. It's so hectic. Everybody's making an impact in their own way. Like Angela, this is her first time ever doing anything like this, at least to our knowledge. And she was, like you said, she was invaluable to this operation. It would not have gone anywhere like this if she wasn't there.
Exactly. I didn't think Fisk's political jail and all the prisoners would be out of the story this early. I thought the prison was going to be running in effect till Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah, I completely feel the same way. I thought they were going to be building up to this throughout the season, but clearly that's not the case. Maybe they have other plans, but I really don't know where else they're going to go from here. But I'm extremely excited.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. We're not going up.
No.
Because with Wilson Fisk, do you ever truly win? No, you don't. Even though all of the people got freed in their safe, the cargo, the main objective, that is still safe, that is still secure within the port. And to Fisk, that is all that matters. Because with the people, he can just say, oh, they were aiding and abetting vigilantes, just like Jack Duquesne. There was no evidence to convict him, yet he still got convicted. So, since the cargo is safe, that's all that matters. So it's time to initiate planned industrial accident. Killing all of the workers, just like Mr. Charles planned for it to happen. The ship sinks. Evidence is hidden with the ship and inside the port. I mean, Fisk still wins somehow. And that's the end of episode 3.
Yeah, man. Just an insane ending. Those last 10-15 minutes of that episode were so action-packed. There was so much going on. It was incredible. And, ending with Fisk doing what he does best, just covering it up and manipulating the media to where he still has the advantage. He just keeps doing it, man. He keeps getting away with it.
Yeah, man. And that's just Daredevil. Fisk always finds a way to make it work.
Yeah, one way or another. I mean, yeah, these 2 episodes were incredible. There was so much great TV in this, and I can't wait to see where they go next because they're building up to so much, and I can't wait to see how it pays off.
Same. And we will cover the rest of the season. We're going to be going back to a 1 episode per week format from here. This week was 2 episodes to make way for the Punisher special presentation that's coming out a week after the end of Daredevil season 2. So we're going to cover that. Too. That's going to be super fun, super awesome. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a blast. I mean, every time we can get Frank Castle on our screen, it's going to be an incredible thing to see.
100%. But yeah, that's been episodes 2 and 3 of Daredevil Born Again. If you made it this far, man, I wish I could give you a hug right now. Thank you so much.
Thanks for making it through.
Yeah, and we really hope to see you on the next video. We do DC stuff as well. We also do Major League Baseball stuff. We'll be doing at least 1 video a week regarding Major League Baseball. So if you like baseball, stay tuned for that. We just released a video a couple days ago, so check that out as well, highlighting all of the major fun stuff that happened through MLB's opening weekend. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and we hope to see you on the next episode. Peace.